All right, so we're going to look at operations with rational expressions. So rational expression is just a quotient of two polynomials. So you divide them. Whenever you're dealing with these, you want to factor everything. GCFs, then AC shortcut if you need to, grouping, whatever you got to do, factor it. And then you're going to simplify. If you got monomials, just follow your rules. You got any common factors, eliminate them. So here we're dealing with monomial over monomial. So we're going to do 20 over 14. If you don't know, you can use your calculator. 20 over 14. That reduces to 10 over 7. Now, I don't know where the x is going to go, but I can look at it and tell. The exponent on the x is bigger on the numerator than the denominator. So my x is going to go in the numerator. 6 minus 2 is 4. X to the 4th. Done. So that wasn't anything new. Most of this will be review. On this one, we need to factor out the GCF first. Notice it's a binomial. So always, if it's not just a monomial, check for GCF, then factor it however you may. Notice here we have a k minus 6 that's going to cancel out. So this expression is actually equal just to the number 6. If you look at the graph of this thing, though, it will be a horizontal line at 6. The only thing is you'll actually have a hole where this denominator would be 0, so x equals 6. Okay. So it'll look just like this, with a hole right there at 6. We're going to get to graphing later. Right now we're just doing the actual arithmetic. So here, numerator, nothing we can really do there. No GCF, nothing we can factor. Denominator, on the other hand, it's a trinomial. So trinomials, let's try the AC shortcut. Factors of negative 48, that add up to 2. Well, that's going to be an 8 and a 6. If you don't know your factors, figure it out. 6 has to be negative. Put those over A. Oh, A is 1. So that's going to be 8 over 1 and negative 6 over 1. So now we can factor. My numerator, I'm going to bring that down. Denominator, that's going to be 1y plus 8 times 1y minus 6. Cancellations happen. Now don't just put y minus 6. That is not correct. Where is y minus 6? It's in the denominator, so put it in the denominator. What's going on top? Well, anything divided by itself is 1, not just nothing. So we put a 1. Over here, let's try the do the GCF first. So 2 times r squared minus r minus 20. And then again, you can use the AC shortcut on this part. Over here, we have a GCF of 8, r plus 4. AC shortcut, that would be looking at the trinomial after you factor out the GCF. Negative 20 to add up to negative 1. So that's a 4 and a 5. The 5 needs to be negative. The A is 1, so it's going to be 4 over 1 and negative 5 over 1. Factor it. If we do factor, we'll notice we do have a cancellation. These r plus 4s cancel. So I'm left with, oh look, 2 and 8 simplify. So that's going to be 1/4, so 1 in the numerator. R minus 5 times 1 if you want, over 4. That's it. Okay, let's look at this one. You should recognize immediately the numerator is a difference of squares. P plus 7 p minus 7. Looking down here, you have 7 minus p. That's not the same as p minus 7. But if we factor out a negative 1, we, well, I'll do it this way, negative 7 plus p, or just p minus 7. So I'm going to go ahead and rearrange it. If you factor out a negative 1, it will change the sign. So I like to go ahead and put the p first because that's just standard. So that's going to be a positive p and a negative 7. Now we can easily see that these do cancel. We're dividing p plus 7 by negative 1. Well, that's just going to change our signs. So that's going to be p over negative 1 and 7 over negative 1. So that's negative p minus 7. That's it. So if you see the order reversed here, like 7 minus p and p minus 7, just factor out a negative 1. Then you can cancel stuff. On this one, start with the GCFs. Right. So now that we have our GCFs factored, we see that we have a difference of squares here. One moment, please. Hurry, Alana. All right, I'm back. So this is 2a plus 1, kind of like an I. So we got those canceling. 3 over 6, that's a half. A over a squared, that's 1a on the bottom. So let's see what we're left with. 2a minus 1 in the numerator, and 2a in the denominator. So now we could split this up, but we're not going to. Well, let's see. Yeah, I guess we can. So how else could we write this? 2a over 2a minus 1 over 2a. So if you do have a monomial on the bottom, remember, we want to split it up, and we don't want negative exponents. So let's see, what's this? 1 minus 1 over 2a. I think I did take it either way, but make sure you don't try and do this and call it negative 1. That's not going to work. But yeah, I'll take either this or this. All right, next on the list, we've got a trinomial on the top, binomial on the bottom. Let's try some factoring. GCF first. Oops, my bad. So here we have a trinomial factor using AC method, or in your head, whatever you got to do. If you don't know how that came, just do the AC method. Things cancel, 2's cancel as well. And we're left with 3n plus 1 over n minus 1. That'll be our answer. This one is a binomial in the denominator, so no, you cannot break it up. Don't try. All right, these both have a 5 in them. These don't have any GCF, but we can do the AC shortcut. There we go. So that's -1/3, -27/3. This reduces to -9/1. So this will factor 3w minus 1, 1w minus 9. And again, these are backwards, so that's going to cancel out, but to a -1. You can write it out as a GCF of a negative up here if you rather. I guess I'll take a whole extra step for this. So I'm going to factor out a -1 here. So that's 5 times -1 w minus 9. Just reverses the order. 9 becomes negative, w becomes positive. So you could write that as -5 in a moment. 3w minus 1, w minus 9. These cancel. We're left with a -5 in the numerator and a 3w minus 1 in the denominator. Okay. Now let's get something interesting. Multiplying. So you guys see what you got. If you got monomials, well, just organize it. I got some numbers, I got some x's, and I got some y's. So I'm putting my numbers: 6, 2, 10, and 18. You don't have to do it this way. I just find it helps a lot of students if you organize it. You could just do it in your head. 6 times 10 is 60 divided by 2. Well, that's 30 divided by 18. Well, they both have a 3 and a 2 in it, so they both have a 6 in them. 5/3. Or you can just organize it and do it in a calculator. Whatever you want to do. Don't care. We got x squared here. We got x cubed there. We got x squared here. We got no x's there. And again, you could just say 2 plus 3 is 5, minus 2 is 3. I'm just showing you how you can organize it. You don't have to if you don't want to. Remember, this is just for monomials. We have no adding or subtracting here. 1 second, please. All right, so now we just simplify. Again, use a calculator if you don't want to think. Now, if you're doing it this way, be very careful because you're dividing by both 2 and 18. You could also use the fraction button. Or use multiplication. Either way, you can get 5/3. In the numerator, I've got a 5. In the denominator, I've got a 3. Now here, well, 2 plus 3. Remember, we're multiplying, so we're adding exponents. That's 5. We're dividing, so we're subtracting. Well, what's bigger, 5 or 2? 5, so it's going in the numerator. 5 minus 2 is 3. That's 7. That's 4. Numerator's bigger, so y is going in the numerator. 7 minus 4 is 3. That's it. So go over here. Again, I like to organize it. If you don't have to. 4, 5, 15, 12. Now you could save yourself some effort if you're not using a calculator by simplifying before you multiply. Like here, 5 and 15, well, that's 1 and 3, and that's 1 and 3, so my answer is going to be 1/9. We'll get there. A's. B's. All right, this is only for monomials. If you got some plus signs going on, don't try and do this. So again, you can take your calculator if you don't believe me with my arithmetic. And you get 1/9. 1 in the numerator, 9 in the denominator. We'll probably be erasing that 1 in a minute. Let's see, 5 and 5. Okay, A's are gone. That's 5 minus 5 is 0. That means we have no A's. That's a 9, not an 8, by the way. 8 and 10, so b is actually going to the denominator, so we don't erase the 1. 10 minus 8 is 2. There we go. Remember, we don't want negative exponents. So if we did say 8 minus 10 was negative 2, that'd be negative 2 in the numerator. We'll move that to the denominator. Negative exponents just reciprocate. They go from numerator to denominator or denominator to numerator, wherever you're at. But if you do it this way, well, we'll just see which one's bigger. That's where it's going. Now, we have plus signs. We have minus signs. Even though this one doesn't matter. Don't try and organize it because we got some freaking polynomials going on, not just monomials. Factor everything. Everything. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4 things we're going to factor. So the first one, I guess I'll try and color code this one. 4x times x minus 1. We're multiplying. I'm going to just do this in my head. X plus 3, x minus 2. You could use the AC shortcut. This is all one big denominator, if you want to think of it like that. Which is another color, I guess purple. This one has a GCF, so I'm going to do some scratch work on the side because I don't want to write this twice. I'm going to factor this. Let's see. 2x squared plus 2x minus 3. Now you could do this down here and then just solve a whole other step. That's fine. And this guy, AC shortcut, that's going to be 2 x plus 3 x minus 1. That's what's going down here. You'd keep your scratch work, but for me, I'm going to just get it out of the way. Actually, no, I won't. I'll leave it and I'll just put this on another page. And let's see another color. How about this orange? GCF. All right. Now, this is all being multiplied together. This is all being multiplied together. This is all dividing each other. So you can cancel anything on top with anything on the bottom. So right here, 4x and 4x. I got the whole thing going there. You could have done the 4 and the 2 right here, and then you got another 2 and a 2. Doesn't matter. These cancel. X minus 1s cancel. X plus 3s cancel. X minus 2 and X plus 2 don't cancel. So all in all, I'm left with X minus 2 over 2 times X plus 2. Leave it like this, don't distribute. That's the number 12, same kind of way. Factor everything. So should we color code it or whatever. 5v is my GCF. That's 2 minus v. This factors as v minus 9, v plus 1. You can use the AC method if you want. This factors as, let's see, 18. That would be 6 and 3, 2 and 9. There we go. Okay. Now, a shortcut, if you really, really want to, you don't have to write out a whole extra step for the GCF here. You can cancel this, but put a -1. That's perfectly fine. The V's cancel. The 5 and the 15 cancel, except the 15 is going to have a 3 with it. V minus 9's cancel. So I'm left with -1 times V plus 1 over, and then let's see, we've got 3 on the bottom. So really, to clean this up a little bit, I'd put that -1 with either distributed or put on the 3. I'm going to put it on the 3. So that would be fine. Or -V minus 1, or yeah, -1 over +3. Either one of those would be fine. Let's see. All right, let's see if we finish this. So yeah, either one of these would be perfectly fine by me. But if you have a -1 or a 1, just don't leave it unless it's by itself in the numerator or denominator. So don't leave it either. So if it's by itself in the numerator, leave it. If it's not, take care of it. All right, let's see. So now division. How do we divide things? We reciprocate and multiply. So let's do it. I'll have to do these on 2 separate ones. Here we got some monomials. So this is just the same as multiplying. Start by writing it out. So before you do anything else, write it as a multiplication statement. Now, we've got only monomials here, so let's group it. Organize it, whatever the heck you want to say. 5, 8, 16, 35. Again, if you weren't using a calculator, you could save yourself a bunch of time by simplifying first. This is just going to be 1/14. Now let's do the p's. P to the first, no more p's, p cubed, p squared. Now the q's, q to the fifth. No q's, q squared. And if you don't believe me, 5 times 8, 16 times 35. Wow, 1/14, who would have guessed? I'll leave the 1 there for now. I might erase it in a minute. P's are going on the bottom. That's 5 minus 1 is 4. P to the 4th. Up, Q's are going on the top, so I'm going to get rid of that 1. That's 6 minus 4 is, wait, what? 6 minus 2 is 4. There we go. Done. Next. This one we're dealing with binomials, so we gotta separate it, factor it, and then see what happens. So you can reciprocate and factor at the same time if you want. I'm going to. So on this one, I'm going to factor out my GCF of 4. Now, I'm going to reciprocate this. I'm going to factor this thing right here. That's going to be x plus 3, x minus 2. You can use the AC shortcut if you want. Right here, the GCF is 2x. I'm left with x plus 3. Right, now let's cancel stuff. So if we look at these numbers, if I cancel this 10 and this 4, all right, 10 divided by 4, that's 5 halves, so 2 and a 5. Okay, nothing else there. Oh, look here. Those cancel all the way. Here, those cancel out. So in the numerator, I'm left with just the number 5. In the denominator, I have 2 times 2x. Well, that's 4x. And that's it. That's your answer. Let's do a couple more and then call it a day. So again, we're dividing, reciprocate, and multiply. And to save some space, I'm going to factor while I do that. 2a squared times a minus 6. That's, let's see, 4. That's 6 and 2. Okay, so a minus 6, a plus 2, or use the AC shortcut, times. So I'm going to factor this one in the numerator, because this one's going in the numerator, this one's going in the denominator. So factors 3 and 5. Here we go. A minus 3, a minus 5. AC shortcut if you don't believe me. These both have an 8a squared in them. 3 minus a. But I'm going to have to switch that. Yeah, see, those are backwards. Okay, so let's do this. 2 and an 8 becomes a 4. A squared and a squared, well, those are the same, so they cancel out all the way. A to the 6, a minus 6's cancel. These two cancel, but they have a -1. You can put it in either place you want, doesn't matter, but don't put it in both. I'll put it down here. Why? Well, why not? Don't care. Could go up here, could go down there, either one, not both. So let's see what we're left with. We've got a minus 5. And that's a -4 times a plus 2. Leave it like that. If you'd have the -1 in the numerator, you'd have brought it down to the denominator the next step anyway. So yeah, I had a constant down here, so I figured that's be a good place for my negative. And last one. So here I'm going to divide by this. It's got an understood 1 in its denominator. So k plus 3 over k times 1. Nothing to factor there. 4k plus 1. That's terrible sign. Difference of squares, we're multiplying, so I'm not going to reciprocate it. That's going to be 4k minus 1, 4k plus 1, and k plus 3. I'll put these in parentheses. All right, let's see what's going on here. K plus 3 and k plus 3 cancel. 4k plus 1, 4k plus 1 cancels. I think that's it. So 1 times blas, who cares? It's just whatever it is, 4k minus 1 over k. And again, I'll take this, or if you want to split it up, since this is a monomial in the denominator, you could rewrite it as this, and then simplify. So either of these will be acceptable, either this one or this one. I'll take either answer. Excuse me. All right, so that's basic operations with your rational expressions. And well, we'll continue next time. See ya.